everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Houston Rockets game reaction, and I know many people would have not overreacted against the Indiana Pacers loss, and many people said that the questions will begin to be asked if we were to lose this game against the Houston Rockets. And lo and behold, the inevitable has happened. We lost the game to the Houston Rockets, and now it's time for those questions to be asked. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today against the Houston Rockets. Now, I want to stress this out dramatically. This is not an overreaction. This is not me saying that the Bulls are going to suck for the rest of the year, or that the Bulls are going to be terrible throughout the course of the NBA season, or we're not as good as what we say we are. I'm not saying any of those things. Because at the end of the day, no team is above criticism. Every team, when they have a stretch of form like this, or when they don't come out to play on 2 consecutive nights in a row, you do need to give criticism to teams. No team is above criticism. No team is above the indication of whether they're good or bad. At the end of the day, when you perform bad, your team deserves criticism. And when you perform well, your team can end up probably getting away from criticism and getting a lot of praise. This is the time right now for the Chicago Bulls where they deserve the most criticism you could give them. Probably the most criticism we'll probably give them all year. We lost this game. I can't remember the score to the exact, but I'm pretty sure it was around 117, 116 to 113. Whatever the case may be for the Chicago Bulls, it just wasn't good enough in terms of this game in general. It just was not good enough. And look, we all knew that this is a lesson for the Bulls to learn. If you continue to keep getting teams in the game when you have an opportunity to end it quickly. We were up by 8 points pretty much this entire game. And you gave this team confidence, you gave this team the desire, and you gave the team the motivation to win. They have not won their second game until now. They beat the Bulls as their second game, but they're desperate for a win. And you give them the opportunity to go out and win a game, and they go in and take it. They finish it up in the clutch. They perform better than you in the third quarter. They made some really open shots, and the Bulls, whatever they pride themselves on, the defensive end was non-existent in today's game. You led 116 points for a Houston Rockets team without their best player dropped on the Chicago Bulls, and the Bulls kind of slapped themselves in the face, and then the Houston Rockets punched them in the mouth with the win against the Bulls today. And look, we can say that the referees kind of did hurt us in this game as well. We can always say that situation because it seems like every game that's the case, but there's no excuse for a loss like this. Lonzo's ball 3 should have counted. I can agree with that. You can agree with that. We can all agree with that. But this team and this game should not have been that close in the first place for us to be discussing the referee screwing us over. So there is a long, hard look in the mirror for the Chicago Bulls. They need to evaluate what's going wrong in their team so far. Why can't they gather up their energy to play, especially when they're taking the lead? Why do they not have that extra energy to go and extend the lead beyond double digits, extend the lead to 16 points instead of 8 points? We need to start asking ourselves this question because we are very capable of doing that. And at the end of the day, we failed to do so, and we deserved exactly what we got here. Let's look at the offense. We all know what the issues are on the offensive end is, and it's lack of ball movement. It's at times really terrible shot selections. You could put a number of things on the offensive end, but the reality is this offense got 113 points, which is not bad. Our biggest issue today was our defense. Our defense was terrible in today's game. We were not connected, we were not switching, we were not helping, we were not rotating, which led to open 3 after open 3 after open 3 after open 3. And the harsh reality is, you can't give open 3s to NBA teams. You just can't. If they're open 3s, they will take them. And in the Rockets' case today, which we all know they're a good perimeter team, they always have been since the James Harden days, and they are in this game as well. They shoot a lot of 3s and they take a lot of 3s. And they make them today. So we have a lot of lessons to learn in that area as well. You cannot switch off defensively because you're guarding a team that might not be at the races in terms of their NBA season right now with only 2 wins. You have to learn your lessons here. This is a harsh, really poor lesson that Chicago Bulls have to learn, and it's something I thought that we were beyond of. This felt like the last season Chicago Bulls. This felt like a team that was not ready to win as much as we have won so far. That's what it felt like. This game, truly, in my heart of hearts, felt like I was watching last year's Bulls. Yeah, well, when, yes, we were competing. We look back on this game in 2 months' time, we said, yeah, look at us competing against every team in the NBA. Look how good we are. But in this site right now, what we seen a couple minutes ago is not acceptable from the Chicago Bulls. To have let this team in and then we ended up falling away. It's as simple as that. You cannot let things like this happen. And there's no point looking at individual performances again, because this is not the right time. It's not the right time to look at individual performances, to look at every single player's positives and negatives, because we can clearly see the positives and the negatives. We can clearly see what went wrong with this team. Look at our bench scoring today. Look at our bench scoring today, and you can clearly see the difference in the bench scoring. It's that these are the things that we've been talking about all season. The problems that we have all season are coming together in this game. And we had Alex Caruso come back. We had Nikola Vucevic come back. Obviously, Nikola Vucevic is still not at his best, and he got 26 minutes today, which I thought was a bit much considering they put him on limited minutes. Alex Caruso had a really strong fourth quarter, but outside of the fourth quarter, I didn't notice him that much. So, yeah, look, at the end of the day, this is something that I want to, again, it's another game that I just want to forget about. It's another game that I just want to move on. I just want to talk about something else. I kind of want to forget this game ever existed. But at the end of the day, we can't hide from losses like this. You can't hide from the loss against the Houston Rockets. And for many people that are saying that this is going to be an overreaction or don't panic or anything like that, I'm far from panicked. I'm far from overreacting. It's not the point of, oh, I think this team sucks. It's not like that at all. But if you're telling me this team doesn't deserve criticism after a loss like that, especially coming off of a loss against the Indiana Pacers where we scored 77 points, then I'm sorry, I disagree with you. This team deserves criticism right now, and that's what I'm doing. I'm providing that criticism because they deserve it. No team is above criticism. No person is above criticism. Everybody gets criticism in their life, and everybody has to deal with it. And this team is going to get criticized today for their unacceptable third quarter, and the fact that they even had to fight in the fourth quarter like that, and they still ended up losing the game. Learn your lessons, the Chicago Bulls. Every team in the NBA will be ready to play against you. Something that Stacey King said today that really brought to my attention, this team has not proven anything yet. Are we a good team? Absolutely. We are a great team. And in my opinion, we are one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference. But we're not at that level where we could just switch off and still win games. We're not at that level. We're not a championship level team at the moment to go and pick and choose when we want to play our games. That's not how it should be. We should be coming out ready to go against every team. The Pacers, honestly, as bad as that game was, I can understand losing to the Indiana Pacers, not by the manner that we lost, but I can understand that loss in total because of the really tough stretch of games that we had prior to that. I can truly understand it. But this game is no excuse. There is no excuse for a game like this. There is no excuse for the fact that we couldn't end this game earlier. There was no excuse that we allowed them to come back with our poor defensive presence in the game, especially from some of our better defensive players. It just was not great in total, and there's no excuse to the fact that we ended up getting humiliated and punched in the mouth by the Houston Rockets. It goes to show that every team should not be taken lightly, and you should go out there and play your absolute best every single time you can. Zach LaVine said in his press conference way early on in the season, win by any means necessary. That's what Zach LaVine said. Win by any means necessary. That's not a team that looks like they want to win by any means necessary, because they didn't provide enough energy to go and win this game by any means necessary. They got to learn their lessons today. It's a harsh one to take, but this is another game where if the Chicago Bulls are going to have a game like that, then they're going to need it and use it as motivation, because no one wants to lose a game like this. No one wants to lose to a team that has only had one win and wear their second win. No one wants to, but again, this is a game where no one wants to see it, but if you're going to see it, you have to use it as a learning experience, and you have to use it as motivation. No more excuses for the Chicago Bulls. No more, it's a back-to-back. No more, oh, we didn't have enough energy. None of that. There's no more excuses you can give to this team. We were fully healthy today. We had our rotation the way that we wanted. We played the starting lineup that I think many people would have expected, and we lost. We've got to move on to the next one now. And the next one has to be a much better performance. And that's one that I'm hoping it will be. But I know this team has to look itself in the mirror. And this team really needs to find that extra level in turn when it comes to training, when it comes to the games. They have to find another level to go up to. Because these last two stretch of games is something you don't want your reputation to be. One of the worst reputations to be given in this league is inconsistent. And I'm not putting that on this team at the moment because, again, we need to learn the lesson from here. But if we go and lose to the Magic and beat the Heat, I think many of us maybe not Bulls fans, but everybody outside the Bulls fans will see this team as inconsistent, and that's not what we want to see. That's not what we want to happen. And we just have to keep pushing forward. The must improve for me, I think, you know what, I am probably going to give it to the whole team. Again, to single out one individual performance today when I think most of our players struggled, DeMar DeRozan is a candidate for must improve today. So many players did not step up to the plate today. Our bench was, in my opinion, not good enough today. Outside of Io, no one else really stepped up to the plate defensively, and Alex Caruso, obviously. But our starters as well, like everything just went really wrong in the second half. So there needs to be a level of step up. My player of the game, I'm probably going to give it to Lonzo or Alex Caruso. I know Zach LaVine dropped 28 points, but a lot of those points came in situations where he was kind of forcing up those shots. He was cutting into the paint, he was taking some tough threes, a really tough corner three at the end of the game as well. But I thought Lonzo Ball consistently throughout the game was probably the best player. So in my opinion, he still needs to figure out how to get himself involved in the second half of games. He had 17 points in the first half, I believe, and only 2 points in the second. So the Bulls need to figure out how to get him more involved, and he needs to figure out how to get himself more involved. And until we figure that out, we could see a lot of games like this where teams end up coming back because everybody on the team, for one reason or another, is just not getting themselves involved enough. But I don't think our offense was the big problem today. I know we have our issues offensively, and those are things we're going to have to iron out, but I don't think the offense was the biggest problem in today's game. Our defense, from the top to the bottom, from our leaders to the role players, has to be better than what it was today. And we got slapped in the face by our own defense. Our pride slapped us in the face today. And now we did get sucker punched by the Houston Rockets. We will verse them one more time at the United Center. Again, this has to be a team where we learn from the loss, and we have to take personal pride, not only against them in the next time around, but in the next game against the Orlando Magic. The Bulls' record is 12-7. There's no panic here. There's no that we're buckling or anything like that. I refuse to believe or refuse to say anything like that about our team. But at the moment, we have to learn. These are learning experiences. This team is not championship material to the point where we get to pick and choose when we play. That's just not how it should be. It's not how any championship team in general should be. You should always want to win every game that you're in, and you always need to play your hardest every single time. And right now, I think the Chicago Bulls are not playing at their hardest. They are not playing at their best, and they're not giving enough energy to win these types of games. And it shows in how we did not put this team away earlier, because we should have. We were dominating for 3 quarters of that game until the last 5 minutes of the 3 quarters, and then they ended up coming back and they ended up winning the game. We were dominant for most of this game, and we should have put them away. That's our own fault. We have to take it on the chin. We have to move on. Congratulations to the Rockets on getting the second win of the season. Their crowd was electric today, and they definitely helped them win this game over us. And we just have to go to the Orlando Magic, and we have to try and fight back against them. These are 2 games right now where we expected to win both of them. Right now, we lost to the Pacers. Everybody can understand that. We should beat the Rockets, and we didn't beat the Rockets. Now it's time to face the Orlando Magic, and we have to play to our standards, not theirs. We cannot lower our expectations. We cannot lower ourselves to play against opposition that are lower quality and play to their level. It's time for us to play what we're known for. We need to pride ourselves on defense no matter who we're playing against. We need to try and play fast. We need to try and get fast opportunities, fast break points, and we need to get everybody involved. If we do those things, we win most nights. But you can clearly see when those things don't happen, we will lose games. And it's time for us to learn. it's time for the Bulls to learn, and hopefully they'll get it right. For anybody that's going to say I'm overreacting, I'm sorry. I respectfully disagree with your opinion. Every team deserves criticism, and this is my video criticizing the Chicago Bulls. They have to be much better than what they are today. I'm not calling anybody trash. I'm not saying anything hurtful towards them personally. It's them as a team. It's them as a spirit. It's them as a identity that they need to figure out themselves. And let's see if they can do it. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Again, no time for fun and games right now. The Bulls need to get back to work. They're going to travel. I don't think they're gonna have a game in 2 days against the Magic, and then I believe it's a back-to-back with the Magic and the Heat. So the schedule doesn't get any easier, but we have to find ways to get some wins in this team, and let's see if we can. Take care and peace.